Aloha and welcome back. So right now we're going to go over the conversation between Cenk and Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA's America Fest 2004. So this was like a couple days ago.
So, Cenk, welcome.
Thank you.
First off, Cenk. I hate when they don't say his name right. His name is Cenk. It's J-A-N-K. It's C-E-N-K. It's pronounced J-A-N-K.
Thank you for that warm welcome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So Cenk, the spirit of inviting you is that there's some confusion of these divides of right versus left, populist versus corporatist. I guess a good opening would be, as a man in the progressive movement, as one of the leaders of the progressive movement, what do you make of this last year, the state of the Democrat Party, and kind of American politics from the more progressive left perspective?
Yeah. So first of all, I'm proud to represent the left flank of the populist movement, and I think we need both flanks, so I'm happy to have this conversation. In terms of what has gone wrong in the Democratic Party, it's the same thing that went wrong in the Republican Party, but I do have to give you guys credit for...
See, I think that's the wrong question. What went wrong with the left is that the Democratic Party superimposed itself on the left like they represent us. They don't represent us. They're center right, if not fairly far right. So the Democratic Party shouldn't be the conversation of the left. They're not us. The Democratic Party they're just right. They're far right. They're at least center right.
Revolution well done. And as credit for revolution well done.
Well, see, we almost had ours. Bernie Sanders, right? But they nipped that in the bud. So I mean, it's not the Democratic Party. We need to go to the Green Party.
What I mean by that is not a revolution against the Democratic Party or the left or the country, but a revolution against the establishment. So.
And I am sorry to stop it so much, but a revolution against the establishment. Donald Trump was on that stage talking about he donated to all of them. He is the establishment. He's the problem with politics, trying to get money out of politics. Donald Trump said he was the money in politics, and all those guys had to do favors for him. And now we got Elon Musk, the establishment, running the Doge stuff. I don't understand how people can act like this isn't the establishment. They are exactly the business owners now running the nation. That's so weird.
I knew you guys were for real in fighting against the establishment when I started going on right-wing shows and I would say something negative about Mitch McConnell. And when I did that in the past, what I would get back is, oh, no, Mitch McConnell's great. Pelosi's terrible, but Mitch McConnell's great.
Let's do that here. What do you guys think of Mitch McConnell?
All right. Yes, I love that. So look, for my left-wing friends that are watching out there, they just booed Mitch McConnell. That's a great thing.
I think just about everybody in the world would do. Oh, not Mitch McConnell. I was thinking Dick Cheney.
Let's do one more. What do you guys think about Dick Cheney?
There you go.
My left-wing friends out there, we have been waiting for the right-wing populists to boo Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney our whole lives. Take the win. Take the win.
How is that a win, though? What does that even matter?
What we need to do in the Democratic Party is we need to do likewise.
Boo Nancy Pelosi?
We need to have a revolt against the Joe Bidens, the Kamala Harrises, and the Nancy Pelosi's.
Boo Kamala Harris. And wait, this guy was sitting here backing Kamala Harris like she was our only hope against fascism. They're all fascists. They're so stupid. How in the world?
And the Hillary Clintons, and now all of a sudden the Dick Cheneys. What are they doing on our side? Are you guys nuts? Right?
I have to interject. When all of a sudden Kamala Harris is doing the Liz Cheney thing, I said, does she want to lose? I mean,
what's amazing is I said the same thing.
Right, they're calling the Democratic Party left, and they're moving right. They're bringing in Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, people like that. They're getting closer to the Republican Party. And how is that? That's not left.
Look, Dick Cheney polls at 13%. What lunatic thought it was a good idea to wrap yourself around Dick Cheney? I mean, when we started the Young Turks 22 years ago, longest running show in internet history, first ever YouTube partner with original YouTubers, one of the driving forces was get Dick Cheney out of office, right? And now for Kamala Harris to come full circle and say, oh, I've got 90 corporate CEOs backing me, and I've got all these executives on my side, and I've got Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney on my side.
And so a lot of the internet shows are talking about how Donald Trump's cabinet is filled with billionaires and all this. He has the most expensive cabinet or most richest cabinet of all time. She has the same thing. She has the same people backing her. She would have had the most billionaires probably in her cabinet of all time.
It was so counterproductive. It's not what the left wing stands for. It's not what the Democratic Party should be about. So the problem is the establishment. They are controlled by the donor class, and mainstream media is their marketing arm. They do not do news. They do propaganda.
All news is propaganda. Be it for the left or the right.
And one more thing. What I want you guys to recognize is that mainstream media, you think, is against you. You think they're against the right wing. But they also hate Bernie Sanders.
Right.
And they also hate me.
So
and they also hate the populists on the left. What mainstream media really loves is the establishment and the elites. They're against all of us combined. And if we dare unite on issues we agree on, they will be livid, and it'll be a beautiful
Universal
day in
health care seems to be one.
And that is correct. I mean, you were kicked off of some of the cable news channels for having heterodox opinions on certain issues. So let's kind of look at the last couple of years. We can go back to the Bernie Sanders thing. Explain to us, why is it that right-wing revolution was successful, and the Bernie Sanders with 2 attempts actually won the primary in 2016, and he had it stolen. Again, stolen election talk can be a little controversial. They stole it from Bernie Sanders in 2016. Why was that revolution not successful?
Yeah, I think it was because Donald Trump was a celebrity and they didn't take him seriously, so they made the mistake of giving him mainstream media coverage.
Boy,
and so they thought, and if you remember, Bill Clinton had this brilliant idea, we'll encourage Donald Trump to run on the Republican side and it'll destroy the Republican Party. How'd that work out for you, Bill? And so I remember saying at the time, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Because what I sensed was, you need a non-politician to lead the revolt. So, because all the politicians, and right now they're having a conversation on the Democratic side about 2028.
I'm sorry, just heard that. What did he say?
Time, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Because what I sensed was, you need a non-politician to lead the revolt. So, because all the politicians, and right now they're having a conversation on the Democratic side about 2028, and the only people they mention are politicians. And my answer to that is, hell no. Okay? Because the politicians are used to the corruption. They grew up in the corruption. They like the corruption. They got their power through the corruption. So I don't want that. I don't need that. And so when Trump came on, they gave him coverage. And here's when look, some people think that things changed after the election. No, I've been saying this from day one. Correct. And so back in 2016, actually 2015, after I think it was the second debate, when Trump was on stage and he said, I gave all these guys money and they did exactly what I wanted.
I thought that was it.
At that point, everyone on earth, certainly in establishment and mainstream media, says he has no chance of winning, none. I went on the Young Turks and I said, he's going to win the Republican primary. Okay.
But see, that's crazy. He admitted that he was the establishment. He's the reason that all these guys are doing stuff for other people and not the people, right? They're doing stuff for corporations because of these bribes, and they're not doing stuff for the people. And I'm like, wow, he just gave the game away. I thought that was it. I can't believe that people didn't notice that. That was wild. But yeah, Donald Trump, he can say some stuff and get away with almost anything. He can shoot somebody in the face and not be prosecuted.
Because people hate corruption, and they know it in their bones.
He said he was the corruption. He's like, I'm the corruption. And people voted for him. How does that work?
We will disagree on, is Trump really not corrupt? Is Trump really going to do the things that he promised? Is he really a populist? I would love to prove me wrong. I would love that, okay? And, like, my God, if Trump got money out of politics, One thing we're known for is credit where credit is due, okay? I would give him all the credit in the world. We're not there yet. We're not close to there yet. So when we get into the issues, hey, how about, and remember, guys, you also have donors. Beware of the donors. Don't forget that, and don't let your guard down, okay? But so on the Democratic side, we have got to elect a populist. If we don't, we're going to make the same mistake we made.
So he thinks Donald Trump wants to get money out of wow, can't speak. He thinks Donald Trump wants to get money out of politics. Donald Trump was a donor. That's what he said on stage. I'm a donor. I'm money in politics. I'm the reason they don't listen to you. I don't understand how people think that way.
Made when they anointed Hillary Clinton, when they anointed Joe Biden, and when they anointed Kamala Harris. To my Democratic friends, how many times are you going to lose before you realize that mainstream media and the establishment are lying to you?
And so is that energy forefront in the Democrat Party right now? And I'm not saying this facetiously. Read us into what the power brokers of the Democrat Party are saying. Are they saying we need to run more to the middle, that we need to embrace more populism? We're hearing some of the names, but what is the vibe of the people that do this for a living?
Yeah, so I can tell you definitively that the Democratic leadership and the Democratic establishment will never voluntarily go in a new direction.
So let's go.
They will never voluntarily accept populism. They are built on donor money. They are of the donors, by the donors, for the donors. So what I need left-wing voters to understand is that they're never going to give you what you want incrementally.
Right.
Martin Luther King talked about the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Oh, if we just go a little further with Joe Biden, he'll give us another crumble and another tiny increment. No, they're going to just pick a new and improved corporate robot like Pete Buttigieg or Gavin Newsom, and they're going to come out with a new script, and they're going to say, I am now a populist, and they will wear flannel shirts, and they'll go to barbecues, and they'll pretend to eat ribs, and then they'll sneak out and go to French Laundry, right? So don't believe the corporate robots. Remember how many times they lied to you. We need to do a
So he's going to say, don't believe the corporate robots, but still push the Democrats, the corporate robots. I don't understand these people.
Populist revolt and pick a populist left-winger so we could have a real contest in this country. The establishment Democrats are never going to win. We need to go populist, and the way to do that is not by negotiating with them, it's by defeating them in a primary.
We did that.
Is the Democrat grassroots, are they invigorated towards that end? Because it seemed as if they weren't obviously thrilled about Biden or Kamala Harris, but you could say whatever you want about Bernie Sanders. I have massive worldview disagreements. He had a legitimate grassroots movement behind him of small dollar donors, of people that were working, of activists. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like that has disappeared a little bit in recent years, or at least has gone to sleep. Am I correct in that? And what would it take to awaken that sleeping giant?
So there's a couple of different branches within the Democratic Party and the left, but the two most important ones are the populist progressive left, that's Bernie Sanders, and we can debate about progressive issues and policies on another day, right? But
why are you there?
But then there's the establishment wing. So the populist.
See, I think the policies are more important than just this jibber jabber. Like, that's what's really important. If you bring left-wing policies to this right-wing crowd, you can bring some of them over to the left, or you can at least bring us more together. Like, that's so silly to not want to talk about the policies.
Wing is already there. That base that was there in 2016 and 2020 still exists. And remember, he's on another day, right? But then there's the establishment wing. So the populist wing is already there. That base that was there in 2016 and 2020 still exists. And remember, guys, and I say this to you and I say it to the left wing, Bernie won the first 3 states in 2020. He was this close to winning until Obama and Clyburn called in all the candidates.
He's right.
And said, you all have to bow to Joe Biden. And then mainstream media then said, Joe Biden is the greatest. And they started talking about how Bernie Sanders, the most successful Jewish candidate in American history, had followers who wore brown shirts and fascists and Nazis. Where have you heard that before? So whenever it's an outsider, all of a sudden mainstream media says fascist, even if it's a Jewish candidate, right? So they use the same tricks. And you guys have been canceled, I've been canceled. They do the same thing to both of us over and over again. So the left-wing populists are ready, but we do need some more votes from people who used to be in the establishment Democratic camp.
Go green. What are you doing? Why would you? It's pointless. Pointless. I'm going to go over the majority report doing the same thing right after this. Pointless. You guys are feckless and pointless. Like, if you want to go to the right, fine, be on the right. Democrats are just, they're such pointless. Like, go green or go home, man. Like, what are you doing, Cenk? This is so not smart.
And why were they in that camp? Because they love corruption, they love war, they love change? No, guys. They were in that camp because mainstream media lied to them. And mainstream media told them, Bernie can't win. Bernie was up by 12 points on Election Day in 2016.
Man, Bernie had the
They
crowds,
said, he's radical. And they called you guys radical and said you couldn't win. They called us radical and said we can't win. But they're wrong. They're lying. So what I need Democrats to understand is stop believing in Morning Joe and The View and all the garbage on TV.
Cenk, what I need you to start doing is stop believing in Democrats.
So that's a really good point about the media ecosystem. You guys are, without a doubt.
And when I say stop believing in Democrats, I mean the politicians. The people, go green. You're not, if you feel like you're left or you want the people power, go green or go libertarian. Neither one of these parties care about you, but especially if you're a Democrat, leave the Democratic Party, go to the Green Party, go to Democratic Socialists of America, anything. Go anywhere but the Democratic Party.
Doubt the most popular, progressive, over-the-top, non-mainstream media sanctioned community. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 27 million subscribers, 30 billion views. I think it's fair to say.
No, I'm not saying that sarcastically. I don't know of anyone that comes close. However, do you think there's a robust alternative media ecosystem on the left that is comparable to what's built on the right? I could say confidently what we have on the right is pretty impressive. We have from podcasting to videos. We don't rely on cable television. Who here listens to podcasts or social media for all your news? Raise your hand. I mean, every single hand goes up. So do you think the left has some work to do in developing over-the-top media to be able to bypass the main networks?
But yes, we have a lot of work to do because we have no left-wing media. All that, him, Sam Cedar, Kyle Kalinske, Crystal Ball, all of them vote blue no matter who. You got to vote for the Democrats because Trump is so much worse. They all got Trump derangement syndrome. Yes, they all backed Bernie when he was in, but then as soon as they cheated Bernie, they're just go back to the Democrats. It's okay that they cheat us or whatever. Nah, it's not cool. We should have went green back then. I went green in 2016. I haven't voted for a Democrat, maybe down ballot a couple, but I haven't voted for a Democrat since then at least. What's your answer, Cenk? Let's see. How are we going to do some more? We're going to do it within the Democratic. Cenk going to tell us how the non-left-wing Democrats are going to do something for the left.
Yeah, so we have TYT as a giant network, but we have a lot of great progressive and populist shows that are not part of TYT that's in the left-wing ecosystem. So I don't think that that's the issue. I don't think that there isn't enough shows. I think that there's a couple others. One, on the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing. Okay, so you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest.
We're glad Cenk's here, right, everybody?
Cenk, I thought they said the Democratic Party was too big of a tent, that we let too many people in, not we them. But like, are you serious?
And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist, right? But if you push enough people out and you guys welcome enough people in, eventually you win the popular vote. That's what I warned them about, and that's what happened, right? So, look, I propose simple rules. The 3 rules of the internet. Rule number 1, when we disagree, we fight. There's nothing wrong with that, right? No, rule number 2 is afterwards we must have a beer together, okay? And rule number 3 is, for God's sake, when we agree, let's unite. So, for the left, we have too much division. We almost never unify. I don't mean with the right, I mean internally. The left loves to attack one another. I love you guys on the left, I love you. But every once in a while, when we get a yes, when we agree, can we please unite? And the second thing we need is for the old, I'm being honest, and on average, not everyone, of course, but for the older Democratic voters, please turn off your television sets. They're lying to you, they're tricking you, they're trying to get you to vote for corruption, they're trying to get you to vote for policies you don't even want. So if we can do those 2 things, then we'll be in great shape.
So I'm not sure how you'll feel about this, but there is a consensus, not a consensus, there is a belief with some people like Seth Moulton and others that some of the embrace of what we would call wokeism or whatever was a reason why Democrats had a less than desirable election outcome. Do you subscribe to that belief? How do you interpret that when some people say we need to kind of shed away some of the more new elements of the cultural implications of politics outside of economics, like the Seth Moulton belief that where he says the trans stuff hurt us?
Yeah, so look, guys, on that stuff, I've been having these debates internally with the left wing. And I explained yesterday, actually, on the Young Turks. Look, everybody's positions are in a different part of the left-right spectrum and on different policies. So I can name you policies where you say, well, that's pretty moderate, right? I can name you policies that you're not sure is left or right-wing, but that is definitely populist, right? But some of my policies might be called extreme left in America. So, for example, I'm massively in favor of gun control. You told them.
All right, well, I'm going to leave them here. I'll leave the link in the description if you guys want to check out the full thing. We're about 16 minutes through. Seems to be getting a little slow. But yeah, Democrats are not the left. The left will never have any representation unless we build another party. We tried to infiltrate the Democratic Party for the past 8 years, 10 years. It's not working. It's not going to work. So if we put that kind of energy into the Green Party, imagine Bernie ran in the Green Party in 2020. He would have had those crowds. I think he would have won. And we'd have a whole different situation right now. But he didn't, and we don't.